used to whisper just to keep the peace. Laughed at your jokes that cut into me. I called it compromise, you called it love. But I gave you everything, you gave just enough. You said I was too much, then asked me to stay. I shrank to fit, but now I say I left the door open, then walked away. I didn't slam it, but I didn't stay. You fed on my silence, I'm done being sweet. You don't get to miss me when I found my feet. You liked me quieter, kept me on mute. Said healing takes time while you played the flute. I kept rewriting every little red flag, turned pain into poems and wore every tag. But I'm not your shadow, not your repair. I won't shrink for someone who was never there. I left the door open, then walked away. Not for you, but for me to stay sane. You wanted devotion, I wanted the truth. So I broke the version you loved me through. I looked in the mirror and saw more than pain. I saw the girl you tried to contain. I left the door open, but I'm not coming back. I packed my heart and painted the cracks. You lost the right to keep me small. I left for me, and I stand tall. I opened the drawer, you left your keys inside. They've been there for days, but I didn't notice till tonight. Your shoes are still lined, like you'll be home soon. The plant by the window has started to bloom. You're still in the hallway, even if I don't see you. You didn't take everything, but you took what you knew. The sound of the kettle reminds me of Sunday. You said you'd be back before the sky turned gray. The jacket you wore still hangs on the chair. I moved it last week, then put it back there. You're still in the hallway, see you. You didn't take everything, but you took what you knew. You didn't take everything, but you took what you knew. You told me you never called her again, but then she liked your picture at 10. I used to think that meant something. Now I just scroll and keep breathing. You were not the first to say those lines. I just heard them for the first time, and maybe that's why they felt like truth. But nothing new was ever you. Your friends call you good at goodbye. They laugh, you smile, and so did I. You said I changed you just a bit, but you've been like this since high school. Since it, you were not the first to move this fast, to say forever and not make it last. And maybe that's why I fell so soon, but nothing new was ever you. I thought I'd be the end of your old ways, but you don't end, you pause, then press play. You were not the first to talk like this, to say you're different and mean the script. I wanted new, but now I knew that nothing new was ever you. You said don't change, but meant stay small. I stopped folding, you called it fall. I gave too much and stayed too long. You liked me quiet, then asked what's wrong. I learned to speak and watched you leave. You said don't drift, but pulled the sea. You wanted truth, but not this tone. You missed the me I outgrew alone. I won't shrink just to stay. I won't fake just to delay. I loved, but I won't bend if love means breaking again. You said you've changed, like that was wrong, but I was never me for long. I stopped chasing what felt thin. You needed quiet, I needed skin. I wanna raise what helped me grow. You miss a girl who let you go. I won't shrink just to stay. I won't fall to make it okay. I broke, but now I see loving me comes before we. You call me brave when I stayed still, but strength was saying what I feel. I won't shrink just to stay. I won't lie so you feel safe. You look settled now, like you never broke. She wears the shoes you said you never own. Your laugh got louder, your hair looks clean. You look like the version you never were with me. And I tell my friends I'm really glad he's fine, but I bite my tongue every single time. Good for you, but I'm not. I still flinch when I hear your song. I wish you well, and I mean it too. But part of me hates how fast you moved. You hold her hand like it's always been hers, and smile like you forgot how we hurt. I keep my cool, but deep inside I still scream when they say you're doing fine. I post my life like it's all okay, but there's a part of me still outweigh. Good for you, but I'm not. I still pretend you're not what I want. I toast to love like I believe in it, but part of me breaks every time you commit. I should be proud you figured it out, but it stings you did it without me. Good for you and your brand new heart. You got closure while I fell apart. I hope she's kind and never doubts, but don't expect me to clap this out. My skin feels heavy, like I'm wearing regret. You asked what's wrong, and I just said not yet. Your kindness stings like something I owe. I smile and nod, but wish you go. It's not that I don't care, I just don't know how to let someone in when I'm breaking down. I feel too much for you to see me. You're not too soft, but it still bleeds me. I want your love, but it burns right through. I wish I was someone who could handle you. You stay too long, and I hold my breath. You say I'm here, and I feel the depth. I don't want silence, but noise feels worse. And even your warmth can feel like a curse. I'm tired of hiding in rooms full of light. I just need space to lose this fight. I feel too much for you to see me. Your hands are soft, but they still freeze me. I need your arms, but not too tight. I need some dark to miss the light. I know it's selfish to push you out when all you do is love without doubt, but I need to be alone, not unloved. Please don't confuse this quiet for enough. I feel too much, but I still care. If I pull away, it's not that you're not there. Just let me fall where no one sees. Then maybe one day I'll come back to me. You said I talk too much, and asked me what I think. You said you like the quiet, so I learned not to speak. I wait for your texts like homework, check my phone and put it down. I write long replies and delete them. You say you like when I'm around. I ask what we're doing, you say don't ruin it now. So I laugh and nod like I wasn't falling out. It's always your timing, it's always your rules. I keep forgetting I was someone before you. Why do I feel like I'm wrong, even when I'm kind? You say I'm too sensitive, then ask me why. I keep folding into spaces you never made for me. If this say you hate drama, but you always play the lead. I ask you to meet me halfway. You say that's not your speed. I say I'm not okay. You say I'll be fine. You change the subject like I'm wasting your time. I used to mean something, now I'm just your calm. You like how I listen, not how I'm gone. Why do I feel like I'm wrong? Even when I try, you say I'm overthinking, then ask me not to cry. I keep folding into spaces you never made for me. If this is what love looks like, then I'd rather be free. Maybe I let you hold the pen too long. Maybe I let go of where I came from. Why do I feel like I'm wrong just for needing more? You say I'm dramatic, but I've been keeping score. I keep folding into spaces you never made for me. If this is what love looks like, then I'd rather be. I used to speak louder, now I only agree. I said yes, you made it small. I held us, you let it fall. I stayed up, you stayed out. I bit my tongue, you raised your doubt. I showed up, you said don't try. I made it right, you asked me why. You say I'm strong, but use my weight. I gave you more than you could take. All I gave you called too much, but kept it close when things got rough. I poured, you looked away. You left, but asked me to stay. You said you love, but only take. I forgave, you said that's fair. You lost things, but I was there. I let you speak while I went quiet. You liked me soft, then called it tired. I broke for you and said I'm fine. You took my yes and drew the line. All I gave you called too much, but used it all when things got tough. I asked, you turned to leave. I stayed with no reprieve. You said I'm rare, but didn't choose. You had my best and let it bruise. your street without a plan. The light was green, but my hands ran. Your hoodie's there in the backseat, still folded right like you might need. You said we'd ride through every town. Now I just turn the volume down. I still drive with both hands tied, taking roads we lit at night. But the air feels sharp and wide without your voice to fill the ride. I stop at lights you never see. I check my mirror like you'd be. They say to heal, just change the view. But all these streets still feel like you. You used to talk at every turn. Now silence sits and lets it burn. I still drive with songs we knew. Windows crack like I miss you, but no one's there to ask me why. I still pretend we didn't die. You left before you said goodbye. I felt the door, I saw the sky. I still drive with no one near. Still picture you just sitting here. And though you left, I stay in place. My hands still reach your empty space. Your voice turned cold, like the end of fall. Still said I love you, but didn't mean it at all. The light stayed on, but the room went dim. You kissed my forehead like we'd never begin. I counted your silence like cracks in the floor, each one a warning I chose to ignore. There's a funeral in my chest, but no one's dressed in black, just me pretending you might come back. Every word you dropped felt like dirt in a grave, but I stayed like I was brave. I smiled through storms weren't there. Learn to be quiet so you wouldn't care. You slept so sound, I watched like a ghost. I knew you were leaving before you even spoke. I folded the days like goodbye notes, each one soft but still cut my throat. There's a funeral in my chest, and the choir is me singing what we were, out of key. I wore your doubts like a wedding dress, but deep inside I knew the rest. You didn't leave in anger, you just stopped being near, like slow erosion instead of fear. There's a funeral in my chest, and I mourn you still, even though I knew you never will. Some love ends with slamming doors. Ours died long before. You don't know me, but I know you breathe. Like I watched the world and forgot me. You pass by and I still freeze. I memorize your shape with ease. I built a life around your face. You keep on walking, I stay in place. You don't ask, but I still wait. You live aloud while I translate. I would give what's left of me if just one night you turn to see. I don't expect, but still I hope. I trace your voice like it's a rope, and I'd still fall, even if alone. You smiled once, not at me, but I kept it like a key. I learned your laugh like second skin. You never saw the mess I'm in. I fade in rooms you light with these. You fly past, I beg to freeze. I would give the best I've known just to hear you claim your own. I don't belong, but still I stay. You don't know me, but I won't stray. Maybe one day you'll turn slow, but if not, you'll never know. I would give what I can't name if just once you'd feel the same. You don't know me, but I still just hangs in air. You smiled like I wouldn't guess, like all the signs weren't screaming yes. You held her hand like you used to mine, and called it closure to cross that line. I kept my voice but lost my pride, and every calm felt like a lie. Was I blind or just in denial? You moved on like love was on trial. I scream in silence where no one looks, 'cause your betrayal never made the books. She wears your hoodie like I never did, and laughs like you didn't beg me to forgive. I scroll and stop on things I hate, then wonder why I still take the bait. I cut my hair but not the thread. You're still a ghost inside my head. Was I blind or just afraid to see you choose to walk away? I held the pieces you left undone, but you ran like you already won. I want to hate, but I still care, and that's the part that's most unfair. Was I blind or just too kind? Was loving you a waste of time? I wish I screamed or slammed the door, but I just stood and loved no more. If you had called on that last cold night, if I had stayed instead of picking a fight, if we had paused before the last line, maybe our story would have turned out fine. But almost doesn't make it true, and maybe doesn't mean me and you. If we were real, we'd still be here. You'd know my voice without the fear. We'd talk like lovers, not ghosts in bed, but we're just pages never fully read. You held my hand like it was glass, and I smiled like I could make it last. But we wrote scripts we couldn't play, and loved like people just in the way you said forever, so gently torn. But some hearts just don't get born. If we were real, you'd say my name like it still meant something the same. We'd wake up calm instead of cold, but we see our life in the mirror steam, not what it was, but what it seemed. If we were real, we wouldn't try to fit this ending into a lie. We just admit we almost were, and leave the rest to never occur. I almost said it when you looked away. It sat on my tongue and begged to stay. You laughed at something I didn't hear. I smiled like I wasn't near. What if it's too much? What if it's too soon? What if I love you makes me the fool? Say it or don't, that's the choice I hold. Between burning quiet or burning bold. I wanna be honest, but I don't wanna fall without knowing if you'll catch me at all. I replay our moments like film on mute, trying to read what your eyes compute. You lean so close, but never through. I count the inches between me and you. I write the words and erase the line. You ask me why, I say I'm fine. Say it or don't, that's the cliff I'm on. Do I jump or just walk alone? I wanna be fearless, but I learned the cost of loving too loudly and getting lost. I've said it before to the wrong face, heard silence back and kept my place. So now I sit with all I want and ask again, say it or don't. Say it or don't, but I know it's true. I'm already gone if I can't say it to you. I wanna mean it without regret, but I'm scared of what I won't forget. I still hear your voice in songs you never liked, like you left pieces in the quiet night. The shirt you gave still fits too well and smells like August and things we never tell. I said I'd move on, and maybe I have, but no one makes me forget you like that. I still call you mine, but only in silence. I say your name when there's no one to mind it. And even if years pull us apart, you still live here somewhere in my heart. I try to laugh with someone new, but they didn't echo the way you do. Your hands knew the spaces I hide. They held me close without asking why. I write you down in songs I won't share and love you quiet when no one's there. I still call you mine, not for the world to see, but in the stillness you still live with me. I hold your face like a secret prayer. You're gone, but you're still there. This isn't regret, it's not moving slow. It's just some loves don't fully go. I still call you mine in ways I can't show. Not with words, but with letting you go. And maybe you've healed, and maybe you've tried, but I still love you from the quiet side. I found them, a sweater you left on purpose but didn't take back. I replayed our last words like a scene that didn't fit the script. We both said it all but wanted everything, and that was the problem. You loved me like a habit, not a choice. It wasn't enough to feel it, not enough to mean it. If you only meant it in silence, it wasn't enough to hold me. If you didn't see me, I needed more than love. I needed you. The river bent like a question, and you stood on the wrong side, smiling. You said, "This feels right," with hands that shook while holding mine. I believed in timing, but maybe we ran out before we met. I stayed where the water curved toward you. We met where the river bends, where the current hesitated just long enough to touch. I built a bridge with my hands. You built a boat and sailed away. You taught me how to wait without waiting, how to smile through slow goodbyes. I learned how to say it's fine without meaning it. The river still bends where you left, and I still wait in sometimes. But I don't build bridges anymore. We met where the river bends, where I gave and you drifted. I called it fate, you called it almost, and neither was enough. The river still bends, but I don't. If you were here, I'd ask you why you changed your mind. Was it me, the timing, or just the passing light? You said you felt off, but I wasn't sure what you meant. And by the time I understood, you already went. You never really said goodbye, but silence is fluent when love dies. If you were here, I'd ask if you miss me, if you ever drive past and think of what we could be. I'd say I'm fine, but you'd know that's not true, because you used to read me better than I do. If you were here, I'd probably lie, but I'd mean every word with my eyes. Oh, oh. I'd ask if you still drink too fast when you're nervous in a crowd, if the couch still dips on your side of the house. I'd ask if her laugh feels like home the way mine did, but maybe that's not fair, so I'll leave it in my head. If you were here, I'd ask if you miss me, if you ever drive past and think of what we could be. I'd say I'm but you know that's not true, because you used to read me better than I do. If you were here, I'd probably lie, but I'd mean every word with my eyes. I still talk to you like nothing's changed, and in my mind you always stay. If you were here, I'd probably say too much. I'd break the silence just to feel your touch. I'd smile like I've let you go, but you'd see through it slow. If you were here, I'd ask you to stay, but that's the one thing you never say. My room feels different, but maybe it's me. I left the light on for who I used to be. I cut my hair just a little too short, wrote a list of things I never fought for, called my mom just to hear her voice, and walked outside without checking yours. No one's waiting on the other side, but I'm still gonna try. I'm getting back to me, slow and soft and quietly, learning how to breathe without your name in every beat. It's not revenge or some big speech, just small things like peace. I'm getting back to me. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. I burned the shirt you left behind. It didn't smell like you this time. Played a song I used to skip. It didn't break me, not one bit. I don't miss you, but I miss the girl who believed she could change the world. Now she's coming back, one step at a time. I'm getting back to me, in open space and quiet streets, loving all the parts I used to hide from someone who never tried. It's not about you, and it's finally free. I'm getting back to me. I say your name less now, but it still lingers in the back of my mouth. Like smoke, I tried to hold her words that hurt when they stay too long. Your sweater's gone, your books are boxed, but memory is cruel like that. It doesn't need a single thing to haunt a heart that still can't sing. They say move on, it gets better, but better doesn't feel like this. You're still in my mouth, like a song I never finished. Still under my skin, like like a cut I never stitched in. I laugh and ache every time someone says you look okay, but they don't hear you whisper in the quiet part of day. You're still in my mouth and I still taste your name. I tried new lips, new city lights, but your shadow caught every flight. You're in the way my fingers shake when someone says, are you okay? You left, but forgot to take all the places you used to stay in me. You're still in my mouth, like truth I can't untangle. You're still in my chest, like breath I have to angle. I fake it fine, but in the space between the words I say, you still burn in the soft parts of the day. You're still in my mouth and I still taste your name. I still walk where we used to argue. You hate it when I talk through movies. I hated how you never cried, but we fit like wrong answers in the same test. Still felt right. My friends keep telling me I'm freer now, but they weren't there when I forgot how to sleep. You were my loud in a world full of quiet. You were the wrong that felt more honest than anything else. I don't want you back, but I don't know who I am without you. I kissed someone and didn't feel a thing. He smiled, but it wasn't crooked like yours, so I looked away. I left you, but I still carry the version of me that only you could understand. You were my loud in the silence I chose. You were my mess, but I was messier. I don't miss you, but I miss being missed. And maybe that's worse. You asked me what I want this time, and I didn't hide behind the usual lines. For once I said what I meant. not dressed up in defense. You listened like it mattered, and nothing felt scattered. There's still pieces on the floor, but I'm not guarding the door. I'm almost believing you see me without needing to fix a thing. You're not rushing or retreating, just staying, and that's freeing. I'm not all in, but I'm not leaving, and that feels like healing. You don't call every night, but I don't read that as a slight. I don't panic when it's quiet. I'm learning how to sit beside it. Maybe love isn't loud, but it's steady when allowed. I'm almost believing this could stay without needing proof each day. You're not perfect and neither am I, but we don't have to lie. I'm not all in, but I'm not fleeing, and that feels like something real. I passed that cafe where you said too much, the same crack on the window, still catching the sun. And I stood there for maybe 5 seconds, not missing you, just remembering. I remember, but it doesn't hurt like watching a movie. I've already learned the plot was broken, the ending unsure, but now I just smile and walk past the blur. Your jacket's still folded in the back of my shelf, but it smells like dust now, not like yourself. There's no fire, not even smoke, just the soft peace of letting go. I remember, but it doesn't burn. You were a chapter I no longer return. You're still here, like nothing's different. I've already left in every way that matters. I made your coffee, like always. You smiled, but it didn't reach. And I told myself that's just how mornings are. You asked how I slept, but didn't mean it. And I didn't lie, I just said fine, because I knew you would believe that first. I wait for you to say something real, but all I get is silence that doesn't hold me. You still want the version of me that never doubted, and I can't go back to her. You're still in this. I've been fading for months. You still reach, but not for me. I'm still holding, and I've already let go. Your sweater's on the chair. I folded it like a promise you forgot to keep. I touched the doorknob twice before walking in, because I wasn't sure if I still belonged. If you said stay, I would. I won't say it, because it would be a lie. I believe we could fix this. I don't wanna fix what I don't feel. You're still here. I've already gone. You keep the lights on, but not for me. You're waiting, I'm done. Neither of us will say it. If something felt wrong, you said, don't overthink it. So I stopped thinking out loud and started hurting quietly. I made room for your silence, but not for myself. I stopped asking for answers you didn't want to give. I stopped waiting for love that had rules I didn't make. I breathe didn't plan to see you there in the same blue coat you wore that fall. You smile like you forgot what we were, and maybe you did. I laughed too loud just to hide how my chest caved in a bit. You said, how have you been? Like you really cared. And I lied, like I always do. I didn't ask you to stay. I let the door close on us slow. But you live in the quiet between each song on the radio. You moved on like people do. You even cut your hair, and I still wait for closure, like it might arrive in the air. I screamed in my head when you turned to leave, not because I wanted you back, but because you still felt like mine somehow. I didn't ask you to stay, but I didn't learn how to let go. You said, see you around, and I said, you too. Even though I only miss you exactly, just the way you used to look at me, like I was everything. You now is quieter, colder, somewhere else. But you then was laughter wrapped in warmth. And I keep mixing them up when I write about you. I miss the version of you who stayed, who checked in when I was one thought away from breaking. I don't want you now, but I still grieve the boy you were before goodbye. Maybe we both changed. Maybe I just noticed it too late. You didn't leave all at once, and I didn't see it soon enough. I miss the love of you who laughed into my hair, the one who didn't make me doubt my place version doesn't love you anymore. You walked in, and the room forgot how to breathe. My name left me, and my thoughts fell to my feet. I said hi, like I wasn't rewinding already. You smiled once, and that was plenty. It wasn't slow, wasn't safe, but I knew I couldn't stay the same. And you struck like lightning through a window pane, like a song I didn't know, but felt anyway. It wasn't planned, it wasn't right, but something in me lit up that night. I didn't see it coming, didn't brace, but now you live in every space. You struck, and I haven't looked away. You didn't say much, but I memorized the silence. Your eyes said, go ahead, and my pulse broke compliance. Some loves take time, but this one just... You struck like lightning through a window pane, like something wild I'd chase again. It wasn't slow, it wasn't planned, but something in me just said stand. I didn't see it coming, now you stay in every color of my day. You struck, and I can't look away. I moved your books last weekend to make space I won't use. I folded the blanket, but your shape still comes through. I don't play our playlist, but I still know the order. Funny how the silence is louder when it's older. You're still quiet here in the mirror, in the hall, in the click of the heater that no longer warms at all. You're not haunting, but you're not gone, and I'm still talking to your echo at dawn. Leave one lamp on, like it's for you, but I tell myself it's just habit, not truth. I think I'm healing, then you show up in the way I pause before saying I'm fine. You're still quiet here, not loud, not cruel, just was present in everything I undo. You left with grace, but forgot your trace. And I live in a house you still have home. I held your hand without thinking, and that mourned more than I said. You asked if this felt real, and I almost said yes, but I smiled instead. Not because I didn't feel it, but because I did. I'm still learning what safe feels like, but I love you without the fear. No shadows underneath your words, no second guessing every glance. I love you without checking how close the door